Right, so we are just about to get started with E-Corp versus Lioncast in the lower bracket final for the Playoff Team Cup, Edition 1 of course. And we will be starting off with the 4v4 on Big City Life between Matt, Keizo, Maxi and Beef versus ranked Yo-Yo, Silver and Omnipots. We'll stick with Omnipots. I've been watching him through the warm-ups there, but no one makes mistakes through the start. Can be a bit tight. But we're looking to see who gets off and started well. Can I click you? Oh, I can. Nice. There we go. We are happy. And we are watching Maxi, who is currently in 6th position, actually drops down to now, as we are having a lockout from E-Corp in the first round. Ranked and Omnipots keeping a strong lead here. Yo-Yo and Silver close behind. Yo-Yo looking to take a more inside line there to get the advantage. Maxi goes outside for more speed, but Yo-Yo comes off the better player from that corner. Maxi looking to get more speed though. However, this is not going to be nearly enough. A reminder of the format for this, guys. The 4v4, only the top 6 get points, which is very important. So even though they get the top 2, that is still important. But you see Ranked and Yo-Yo closing it off for 103.1. And you can see only 6 points are up for grabs, and E-Corp take almost all of them. It's only Beef and Matt managing to get points, not even the best positions there for the points, as you can see. So it's not as simple as just a normal 4v4, as I said. So this kind of rewards players who go for consistency, as those who crash are going to not get their team any points whatsoever. So bottom 2 work Keizo and Maxi here. We'll watch Keizo this time. We gave Maxi a bit of the spotlight already. Let's see what the French representative for Lioncast can do. Oh, that was a big mistake though. I believe that was perhaps Ranked. No, it was not, but Keizo falls down again. Up Silver here, who is in first place at the moment. Beef has already fallen. Let's look at Beef's perspective and see who it is else that has failed. We have Keizo and Yo-Yo who's failed. So we'll go back up to Matt here, who is the sole representative almost for Lioncast here. Maxi up here to help out, but Maxi makes a big mistake as well. It looks like E-Corp are going to lock out this top 3 here. Oh, big mistake from Silver there though. However, they should keep the top 2. Matt almost took it there, but again, very convincing there for E-Corp. They have 4 players in the top 6. And with 4 players in the top 6, they pretty much win it anyway. So, would it be a draw actually? So 3, 6. Actually, so if you get the top 2, you're guaranteed to win. So, E-Corp have held the top 2 throughout the last 2 rounds. Ranked performing very well. However, Maxi does not get any points for the 2nd round in a row. And that, to put it simply, is not good enough. Ooh, Omnipots makes a mistake this time though. Yeah, as a sole person to have made a big mistake here. As I say, that Keizo falls. Keizo very low on the spectrum of points here, but let's look at Silver, who's only secured 2 points himself. That's Keizo. Or Keizo, however. Yo-Yo with a strong lead here though. Yo-Yo looks to know the ins and outs of this track. Of course, we know the potential of players like Yo-Yo, multiple time LAN tournament finalists, and I believe a Gamers Assembly champion, so that's the kind of performance we'd expect from such a player. We do have Silver here up in 2nd place, Ranked in 3rd, and Maxi and Matt are trying to get themselves in there. Ranked's made a mistake though, and Silver is under pressure. Matt and Maxi will need to overtake them, I believe, but it looks as if we're going to get 1 position ahead. And again, only 2 players in the top 4, as Yo-Yo is the one to take a good time here. And a .96, very nice there from him. And Beef does eventually finish, but last place. Maxi does eventually get a good bit of points though, gets himself up to 3, but you can see where Lioncast are falling here. Only Matt managing to get consistent points. And it's kind of roulette between the remainder of the players as to who will actually finish. Never know though, we might be seeing a two map tactic from Lioncast. You never know. Omnipots makes another mistake here. has an extremely good time here. They had a great 1v1 against Ari last week, so maybe a bit too overconfident going into this map. One of the heavy hitters for E-Corp, it must be said. Silver has to get a no drift there though, and you can see how he had to adjust his approach to there. But Ranked and Yo-Yo again with the all-important top two. Yo-Yo goes for a much more inside entry there. You can see he pulls it off better than Ranked does, but I'm sure they won't care. Matt and Maxi and Beef making mistakes. They're putting it on a plate for E-Corp here. Even Omnipots overtakes them, and that will be an ace for Team E-Corp. How are we doing, Apos and Ruva? Sexy boy, here we go. Nice to see y'all. Yeah, at the moment it's an absolute tanking. E-Corp are giving him a hounding. Maxis, Beef and Keizo and a combined 11 points, which is only 1 point more than the lowest player of E-Corp, which is Silver. Matt might be wondering what's happened to his teammates of Lioncast, as they're not performing as you would expect, and that's another big mistake there from Beef. And Beef looks to be out. He looks to be gobbled up and spat out by E-Corp here. Keizo is sitting still, and I think he's retired, so only 2 players remaining for Lioncast up near even near the top. But as you can see, 0.3 and 0.4 behind Yo-Yo. Yo-Yo definitely looking good here. Omnipot's up near the top as well, but again, the all-important top 2 is all these players need. And it looks as if they're going to get it and then some. And there we go. So Yo-Yo looking very strong here. Silver manages to get himself in as well, as does Ranked. So Lioncast definitely feeling the effects of having a small lineup here. Only 5 players of theirs are present, I believe. So with the kind of lack of depth you have with such a small squad, then you need to worry about that if your heavy hitters aren't trained, then who's going to be there to back them up? That's why you see teams like E-Corp thriving, Venture, M&M. They've always got players who can split their time between maps. And as well, you've got those players who, if say your monsters like say Omnipots or Kronos aren't all there for the match, then you've got Yo-Yo, then you've got Ranked, you've got Roa all there to back them up, and then you have a whole host of phenomenal players in E-Corp. I've seen here Yo-Yo is up in 5th position here. Maxi makes another mistake here, and it is just the kind of tail of the tape is just a really bad performance, it must be said, from Lioncast. I don't know if they were not as prepared as they should have been, but they're just not looking as the same level as E-Corp here. E-Corp are looking too hot to handle for Lioncast here. And again, that's a second ace here, taking it up to 6-0. And it will be sub-match point here. Very, very convincing sub-match for E-Corp. Welcome, Dutchy. Welcome, Carty. Let's go to Matt, though. Let's see if E-Corp can spare... Oh, sorry, Lioncast can spare their own blushes here. Off to a better start this time. I'm seeing a lot of red players down here. However, as we can see here, Silver fighting himself back into the pack. He does have Maxi behind him, but again, the all-important top 2 is at the moment in French hands with E-Corp. At the moment, Matt makes a big mistake there. Just miscalculates a turn completely. Maxi crashes. Beef might risk it here, but he's not going to be able to get anything from it. Silver gets great speed on the exit, and the round will go to E-Corp once again. Omnipots the 6th time there, a .868 done in match, and showing the power E-Corp have, and almost putting Lioncast to shame there. Lioncast not managing to muster a single point. And there we go. So 1-0. 1-0 to E-Corp, and we will move on to the 5v5. Who's in winner bracket if E-Corp is here? To explain, there was a winner bracket semi-final between M&M and Venture, of which M&M won. Sorry, that was a winner bracket final, pardon me, which Venture lost, so they dropped down to the Consolidation Final. So they're awaiting the winner of this match. Lioncast got beaten by... Who the fuck did they get beaten by? I can't remember. Hold on, let me check for you guys. Updates. Right. So, E-Corp got beaten by Venture in the winner bracket semi-final. Lioncast got beaten by E-Corp in a winner bracket quarter-final. So to get here, Lioncast had to beat Exile in the lower bracket, S7 in the lower bracket, and their last round was against THE. And in the lower bracket, E-Corp had to go against Team Q, which was a very close match. And but E-Corp did eventually take it, so now we find ourselves up in here. Anios, Speedy is in M&M, if you didn't know. So the 5v5 coming up here, and this is on Medigia, blah 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 blah, however that's said. And this is the one, of course, with the Omnipots world record here, and a very, very strong lineup here it looks to be for E-Corp. But let's check out the deadies nevertheless. So, we have Sers here in a 58.6, 7.5, Zami on a 6.32, however it doesn't look like Zami's here. Any E-Corp Silver at a 6.42. Let's see... Matt 505, Ranked 505, Maxi 435, Yo-Yo 408, Beef at a 385. However, then we have a lockout of the top 4 undeadies from E-Corp players. Raptor 345, Roa 338, Kronos 305, and Omnipots 165. Oh, 168, pardon me. A very strong world record there. Let's have him take us through the track. So this will be the 5v5. We'll have a slightly different format, but also just to give a big thanks to Marius for the 35-year host. Appreciate it, man. Hope your F1 championships went well. Safety's way to victory, I'm sure. But welcome along all of Marius's viewers. Hope you're all having a radiant day. Omnipot showing us how it's done. A 0.49 being done. Very strong time. So the way this 5v5 will work, just to quickly explain, is of course there'll be 10 players on the track, 5 from each team, and when you get first place, then you are out of the race, so to speak. So the objective is to have all of the players on your team out of the race. So, example, E-Corp want to eliminate all of their players first, before Lioncast do. So, in the event Omnipots goes out, that's then a 4v5, so then they'll want Roa to go out, and if he goes out, it'll be a 3v5, and so on and so forth. So, the less players you have, the less odds you have of winning the round, of course, if you just look at it in a numbers kind of way. But, that means you do have the advantage in the sub-match. As then, say, E-Corp have the advantage, that means Lioncast can kind of afford to throw the players to the wind and just kind of go full risk. But that, of course, depends on how good the other players are playing. And the other side of things goes in is you can even have a bit of tactical play in this sub-match, as in the event that, say, E-Corp have a comfortable lead, Lioncast have made so many mistakes, and they want to keep their key player in, say it's Omnipots since he's top deady, then they can simply crash deliberately. So Omnipots can crash deliberately if he's in front and allow a weaker player to go through and eliminate themselves. So, it's a bit of a weird way it'll work, but nevertheless, we will go live into Clem map on PTC. Will this be the final, at least final sub-match that matters here is the big question. If E-Corp win this, they will secure the Consolidation Final spot, but we are going with Roa, Ranked, Silver, Omnipots and Raptor versus Sers, Matt, Kazo, Maxi and Beef. So ride with Beef here. team captain of Lioncast. He is here around about the middle of the pack, about 6th as it says on the little pop-up there. A good turn there, Beef, so he gives himself a chance to get closer to the top, and we see Roa and Roa and I believe it was Silver falling down there. So now Beef and Omnipots contesting over the crucial first place. This is the only place in this round that matters as first. The other players are pretty much on duty at full risk here to put the pressure on the opposing team's representative of first place. But it looks as if Omnipots is going to have it here. Got a question of who has a better end. Omnipots had to do a little drift there, I think, but Beef doesn't have enough gusto, and Omnipots gets to be the first player out, performing very well there in the one round where it mattered. And he gives E-Corp the one player advantage. So E-Corp now only have 4 players in this sub, 4 left to go out, whereas Lioncast have all 5. So let's stick with Beef here, as he was very close there. Didn't have the best of starts, did Beef, but it definitely picked up his pace later on. And that is Ser's getting wrecked. A bit too close to the left hand side there, kissed the wall in a big way. Yeah, made out with the wall then, I suppose would be the way to say it. But this time it is Roa up here fighting with Beef. Maxi here goes for a massive inside line through the CP for Maxi. Going for a lot of risk there, does not pay off. They get claimed by the wall, and we go up to Raptor, Roa versus Matt and Keizo here. So you can see the different trajectories from the Lioncast compared to the E-Corp players, but Keizo goes too close to the left on exit of that small section, gets a little bump and is claimed by another wall. So Lioncast only have one representative, and it is Matt here, but Matt does not look to be as if he's going to be able to do enough here. He doesn't even get second. Ranked is now out. So unless you want to be out. So now only 3 players remaining for E-Corp. That's a hell of a roster left to go for still. Roa, Raptor and Silver. And Lioncast not got 1 player yet. So let's go to Maxi here. He hasn't been as impressive on this map so far. He's had some good starts. You can see, especially when he was risking it going through this section coming up, that he definitely has potential on this map, but he just needs to realise it. So you can see he goes for a lot more speed, and he does overtake Raptor and gets him a lot closer to Silver. Very little space left there to adjust, and he makes a full stop. And you could see that coming, but now Roa has nearly a 3/10 lead over his closest opponent here. However, if he does make a mistake, he has Beef close behind. Beef lowered the gap a little bit here, but now Beef has company and Raptor and Silver. That is not what Beef wants, and he doesn't have a good exit there. Far too wide there is Beef. Beef retires, and Roa perhaps going for some team play there. Allows Raptor to overtake, and Raptor now goes out, and now it is just Roa and Silver remaining. So will this be another shutout for Lioncast? Sorry, for E-Corp, pardon me. Be very strange if it was a shutout in this one, as this would favour the team that has the more players, you would think. But Lioncast is not managing to get anywhere. Let's go with Silver here. Not managed to get a good time on this map yet, has Silver. No one's saying that. Lioncast aren't exactly punching in the fastest times at the moment. Oh, Silver makes a mistake, so it's all going to be in Roa's hands. Sers makes a mistake. Beef makes a mistake. Kaizo's already crashed. And it is down to Maxi and Matt chasing down Roa. But Roa's in a hell of a time here once again. Matt getting a bit closer though, and roughly sticking to the same kind of line as Roa. Maxi makes a mistake. Could be Matt versus Roa here. Roa has a lot of trouble going through that. He won't get the airtime, whereas Matt will though. Matt gets a no drift. He has to go for the wall bang. Will Roa manage to take this in response? He's got a more inside line at the ending. He actually released there, did Roa? That was strange. Perhaps he doesn't want to go out and leave Silver over to himself, but Matt kind of getting a bit of a consolidation point here for Lioncast, but it pretty much looks all but over here. So let's keep our eye on Silver again, who is an important player here. We've seen Roa have some very strong performances, but I suppose, yes, in a way the Duchess says I can understand that you might want their strong player to go out if Matt is their player who is consistently challenging them. Just let him go through if he is confident enough in his own times. But Silver here is not in a position he wants to be. He is at the very back of the pack. However, Beef with the blunder. Blunder Beef. Bug Beef. But Sers has a crash. Keizo and Maxi are standing in the way of Silver here. Maxi falls down. Only Keizo between what E-Corp want, and they want Silver through. Oh, Silver goes too deep. Starts his drift way too early there. Is Roa going to let Keizo through again? No, he's not. Looks as if he went wide there deliberately, but Silver is now the only remaining player for E-Corp. And he is against 4 Lioncast players here, but Lioncast players have been relatively unimpressive, if I must say so myself. I mean, of course, I'm sure the players are doing their best on track, but they just don't look like the Lioncast we're used to seeing. Used to seeing a Lioncast which would be able to threaten the top teams around, but they just don't look to have that kind of killer instinct. The extra 10% is needed here. Silver's on a tear here at the moment though. Is he going to end this match right here and now? Oh, goes a bit wide there, has to adjust. Let Sers get ahead. Does have competition here though. Oh, goes up on the quarter pipe there. Sers gets a bit of the bit more of the quarter pipe than they would have liked, I'm sure. But this time Lioncast look to be with their noses ahead. Sers gets a much better exit than the rest of the players, and Lioncast will finally have a good round here. 3 players within the 58s, and Sers manages to get himself through. So that means we only have 3 Lioncast players left. Beef, Keizo and Maxi. All players at least having run a decent time here so far. All within the 58s, but not the best of times that we're used to expect. But nevertheless, some of the players at least looking relatively consistent. But Beef and Silver this time in the battle. Oh, Silver goes a bit too deep in that drift here. You can see he drifted a bit too much, which resulted in him losing time to Beef. I'll have a better trajectory there on the entry than Maxi, allowing him to overtake, and he's got more speed there than Beef. Doesn't go as wide this time, does Silver. You can see he's going to get air time going over here a little bit, but he keeps his car straight, which is the main thing. And only Beef is remaining to deny him here at the moment. Beef doesn't have the best exit, but it looks as if he's going to have it only just. Silver cut inside at the ending, and now Beef is through. Silver got his best match time so far, but it was not enough. And who knows, a Lioncast may be turning this around here. Again, a reminder, there is only 3 sub-matches here, so if Lioncast managed to outlast Silver here, then that will mean that it will come down to a 1v1 to decide who gets the Consolidation Final. And anything can happen on a 1v1, as we all know. Oh, Silver, too far to the right there, gave him a bit of air time, but he's against Keizo and Maxi here. Silver's been looking at least consistent in the past few rounds, but he's just not got the pace to match. However, he only has 1 opponent here now, and it is Maxi. Keizo has crashed. Keizo is all but out of the round here. So we'll go up to Maxi here. Maxi needs to finish, and he needs to finish in first, or Lioncast are out of the tournament. And he touches! A very unneeded mistake there, it must be said, for Maxi. What was just he initiated too early into the straight there. And Maxi kind of threw away the win there, unfortunately, but Silver does eventually manage to close it out. And we will have our consolidation finalists being Venture versus E-Corp. So E-Corp are not up for, Lioncast are not up for playing the 1v1, so that will be it. 2-0 is the final score, and E-Corp take it home and proceed to the consolidation final.